Hello Culers, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal, and following all of the drama over the past few days, here we are yet again about to play another important fixture in La Liga as we'll be taking on Alaves at the Camp Nou on Saturday night. But of course, there will be no Ronald Koeman in charge. He has been sacked and the post-Koeman era begins here. Until Xavi can be brought in, it will be Barca B coach Sergi Barjuán who will be leading the first team fixtures. There is a lot to discuss here, so without any further ado, let's begin. And this one will be played at 9 PM local time on Saturday night at the Camp Nou for what should be a really interesting fixture. And I think it will also be really interesting to see how many fans we get in the ground for this game, of course, for Sergi Barjuán's first game in charge, and of course the first one of the post-Ronald Koeman era at Barcelona. Right, here is how the La Liga table looks heading into this one. Of course, it doesn't look great for Barcelona, and of course that is a big reason as to why Koeman has been sacked as coach. But I will say this. It's an open title race in my opinion. It really is. Sides such as Real Sociedad and Real Betis are absolutely flying. You've got Real Madrid and Atletico who are near the top, but they've also been dropping points as they did actually in their last fixtures, just like we did against Rayo actually. So if Barca can pick up some form and go on a good run under Xavi when he does come in, then we could actually build something important even this season. The time is now in football, and let's see what we can do. And that even includes tomorrow, guys. Under Barjuán, if he can guide us to 3 points here, that'll be absolutely crucial. So then, let's begin with Barcelona, and just wow, really. It all moved so fast, didn't it? After months and months and months of everyone saying, sack Kuhman, bring in Xavi and whatnot, it looks like that's finally going to be the case. Kuhman is out, he is now gone. And it will be Sergi Barjuán who will be the Barcelona coach for this game against Alaves, and probably also for the game against Dynamo Kiev midweek. Now, I think all of this has happened quite fast, quite soon. I don't think any of us were really expecting it already. We've had a lot of bad results in the past, and it felt like nothing was really happening with Koeman, but it looks like Laporta has finally had enough. And what's interesting now, guys, is of course we know that Xavi is really the guy who the board have chosen to come in, but the likelihood is, guys, that Xavi will only come in earliest for the Celta Vigo game just before the international break. And what that means, guys, is that when Barjuán is in charge for these next 2 fixtures at least, he needs to win them. He needs to win now. He needs to come in and somehow rally this team together and get the victory. I actually said before the Rayo game that we've got 4 games now before the international break, and I want to win all 4 of them. Well, we've already lost one, and we've got 3 left now. Alaves, Dynamo Kiev, and Celta Vigo. And we've got to go and win them, especially that game against Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday, which is one of the most important games in our recent history. I think having an interim manager in for that isn't really ideal, but Sergi Barjuán has somehow got to rally this team together, as I said, and he's got to dig out the 3 points. And I think certainly whilst Barjuán is in charge, and in tomorrow's game for sure, he can't really change much. He can say a few things, he can instill a few principles, he can do a few different training drills in the sessions that he's got. But let's be honest, guys, he's going to line us up, most likely in a 4-3-3, say the basics, enforce the principles of Barca's play, and really I think it will be on those players to go out and win these next games, and we will absolutely need them to, because, guys, as we've been saying, we do not really have much room for error at all left now this season, and the players who are out on the pitch tomorrow, they've got to get together, and they've got to produce. Regarding team news and what Barjuán has to work with, similar to Koeman, he doesn't really have much. Araujo is still out, De Jong is still out, Pedri is still out, Braithwaite is still out. We've got Ansu Fati now, who will also be missing for this game. Sergi Roberto is also still out for this fixture. We're still waiting to see whether Dembele will be fit. He could be in the squad, but again, if he is in the squad, he won't be fit from the start. He may be getting, 10-15 minutes at the end. And it looks like Barjuán actually may be bringing a few Barca B players with him. We've got Abdi Ezalzouli and Alvaro Sanz, who are set to be included in Barjuán's squad for this game, as we are actually lacking in a winger and certainly a midfielder too. And regarding how we could line up, this is what I've predicted. It's really hard to predict actually, who knows what Barjuán is going to go for. He probably has some favourites, some ideas of what he could do. But let's run through it. I've just gone for a 4-3-3 basically, and I've put the most likely, I think, players to start. Ter Stegen in goal, Dest at right back, Alba at left back, Piqué next to Eric Garcia in defence. In midfield, I think Busquets, of course, will start, with De Jong out, with Sergi Roberto out, with Pedri out. I think it will be Nico and Gavi. Nico played well. I think Gavi will start, but all of a sudden, no Ronald Koeman. Riqui Puig now does have a chance to play, so let's see if Riqui goes from the start. Although I think the fact that Nico and Gavi have been playing more football, it seems more appropriate to me to start them. And then up front again, we don't really have a right winger, we don't really have a left winger, and this is where we have a big issue in our squad all season long. So, maybe he does Coutinho in the number 10 role, and then you draw Gavi out to the right, Memphis out to the left, and Aguero down the middle. You could do something like that, for example. That will leave you with Nico and Busquets in the pivot. We actually had a similar sort of thing against Rayo for just a little while. But let's see what Barjuán lines up with. What would you guys do? Because I think it's quite interesting. Maybe he brings Demir in for some natural width. Maybe he even just starts Abdi from the start, the Barca B winger who he decided to bring up. I doubt he will, but you know, it does make you wonder. Someone like Alex Collado, for example, in the squad right now could have been really, really useful. But regarding team news, I think that's the sort of thing I'd expect. Look, you could bring Dest up again and bring Mingueza to right back. That's certainly an option. But let's see how Sergi lines up. And quickly on to Alaves then before we wrap up, who of course will be our opponents for what should be quite a strange game in the Camp Nou, I think. And to be honest, actually, I think it's the sort of game that Barjuán as coach would like to come into. Alaves at home, it seems ideal enough for the new Barca manager, in my opinion, without any disrespect to them at all. Alaves, again, you know, I think we know their sort of level. They always seem to scrap with relegation. They've done very, very well in recent seasons. We've got a lot of respect for what they do there in the Basque Country. They've stayed up every season since they've been promoted. But again, they do sit 16th in La Liga, and that is around, you know, where you'd expect them to finish. Having said all of that, Alaves are actually on good form and will be feeling quite confident. They've won each of the last 2 fixtures. They were on a 2-match winning streak, and they didn't concede a goal in either of those last 2 games. So coming into this game, guys, you know, against a pretty withered and you know, mixed up Barcelona side with a new coach and uncertainty and whatnot, where a lot is up in the air, they could actually fancy their chances of taking a few points off the Catalans. So to wrap up with my score prediction, I'm going to go for Barcelona 2, Alaves 1. I'm not expecting any miracles in this game or any fireworks or any all of a sudden, you know, it's a big click of the fingers. Look, Barjuán has come in, Kuhman is gone. Barjuán himself has actually struggled at Barca B this season as coach. I'm just not sure what he'll really be able to implement, or any coach would be able to implement in just a few days, to be fair. So, look, let's see what happens. Any win for Barcelona would be good. This game is important. If we get 3 points here, it does help us up the league. You know, if we again drop points here, we're just slipping and slipping and slipping. And then, you know, even that push for top 4 becomes even harder. But certainly midweek against Dynamo Kiev, that is a huge game in the Champions League that Barjuán will have to get a win in. But tomorrow's a good chance for him, you know, in front of our own fans, to get 3 points for Barcelona. He has emphasised in the press conference that he wants the players to play with a smile on their face. So let's see how they do. I'll be here after tomorrow night's game with all the details, and I'm sure in the coming days there'll be more previews, more reviews, and hopefully, guys, more good news for Barcelona off the pitch. So let's see what happens. I'll see you then, and goodbye.